This is just a quick update for anyone that's been following my videos on the Wren computer repairs. Yes, I'm still working on them, and there's been a kind of a slight detour. In the earlier videos I mentioned that I was trying to reverse engineer both the hardware and the firmware so we could get some proper support for these machines going forward and make sure that any that exist could be repaired a bit more easily. If you saw the early videos in these repair series, then you'll know that trying to repair these was a bit of a headache at first because we had absolutely no information whatsoever on them. And I spent probably over a year going through the first machine that I had access to and repairing various faults. Finally got that one working, did a lot of reverse engineering, and was fortunate enough that fairly recently via a museum we managed to contact one of the original developers. He's been extremely supportive, very helpful, and has provided us with some information, some schematics. Unfortunately they were 40-year-old paper schematics, so very hard to read. And so the slight detour has been to take that information and use it to create some decent schematics. Now, I'm still not at liberty to pass these on, and somebody asked if that was a financial thing, and no, it isn't. The developer's not demanding money from us. He's been extremely helpful, and it's simply because I don't want to kind of bite the hand that feeds me, so to speak. The guy's been very helpful, and if there is copyright on this, then I don't want to be the one that upsets everyone by passing out information that's meant to be restricted. So that's the only reason. Hopefully in the future we'll be able to make this information available to anyone that has one of these machines or is just interested in seeing the technology. But at the moment, unfortunately, I can't pass that on. And as I said, it's really made it a lot easier to support and repair these machines. So what I've been doing is going through the schematics, referencing them against the boards that I have here. I do have 3 of these boards here, and because the schematics were in such poor condition, I couldn't really read pin numbers, and a lot of the tracks were very hard to trace through. So with a combination of buzzing it out on the boards, checking all 3 boards to see what the general consensus was for a given connection, and then comparing that against the schematics, I was able to come up with what I think is a fairly good set of schematics for the Wren computer. And it's taken a bit more effort than I'd originally expected it to. I think it's taken about 200 hours to do that, but they are now pretty much done. I've still got some inter-schematic connections to resolve. And it's thrown up a few interesting things as well in terms of the board doesn't fully match the original schematic in 1 or 2 fairly minor areas, but one in particular is of significant interest in the implications it has for the machine. So I'll be going into that in more detail in a future video. And as I say, so that's the status of this project. I'll be getting back onto the actual hardware fairly soon now that I have the schematics. If you do have one of these machines and you need to get it repaired, then hopefully we'll be able to assist at some point in the near future.